All right. So I go from the basketball podcast to pro wrestling. Here we go, man. Three, two, one. Brand new episode of the Two Out of Three Falls podcast here on YouTube, Twitter. If you're watching, you can see the scroll in the bottom. So go ahead, download, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. YouTube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. I'm joined by, as always, Graham Matthews from Bleacher Report and Fansided DDT. Go ahead, follow him on Twitter at Russell Rants. Find myself, Randy J. Cruz, RENDY, about the world of pro wrestling in the last week or so. Give us a ring. We'll try to get to your questions on the show. If not, we appreciate you either way. So, Graham, a lot's been happening, I guess, since the last time we did a show last week. We have a new women's champion. We got the draft coming up tonight. The King of the Ring tournament announced, King and Queen of the Ring tournament announced. We have the faction of the new elite with AEW and Tony Khan. Like now, the main guys getting involved. So I want to start because it's obviously fresh and
Uh-oh, we lost Randy.
Graham.
Mr. Randy Cruz.
Hey man, the beauty of live TV, right?
I guess
Am I,
so. We
am
weren't
I,
even a minute. I mean, I guess it was better than it crashing halfway through.
bro, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I'm still live on. Before I start talking, am I still live on?
I mean, it says live 6 minutes, so I don't know.
Okay, boy, I think we got it now. I think we got him. My bad, y'all. Wi-Fi issues. So, Graham, AEW, right? Tony Khan. I'm watching the highlights and clips of Jack Perry coming back, and he's in the
Mhm.
ring with Tony Khan. Wanted to be reinstated. I think there's a handshake, there's a hug, and Jack Perry looks to the side, to the camera, smirks. He attacks Tony Khan. The Elite comes out, like, "What are you doing?" And then lo and behold, everybody attacks Tony Khan. Now you have
Yeah.
like this NWO kind of faction with the Elite. So it's going to be the Young Bucks, Jack Perry, and Okada. And now Tony Khan is in the Vince McMahon role of, or the Eric Bischoff role of being the main guy to run the company, and now is getting attacked by its performers. So I don't mind it. I think it's something new for them. We'll see where it goes. But what was your overall reaction to seeing that, and obviously seeing Tony Khan on the NFL draft last night with the neck brace, just selling just the kayfabe of it all.
I commend his commitment to kayfabe. I'll say that much. I'm actually probably in the minority of those that didn't like it. I thought it was
Mm,
very goofy. I mean, I don't think Tony Khan should be an on-air character on AEW television at all. At all. Whether
right.
he's taking a beating or an on-air authority figure. Now, I know he legitimately owns the company. I get it, and that's kind of the point. Maybe he feels the thing is, maybe he feels and always has felt that it would be phony or disingenuous to have an on-air authority figure because everyone knows at the end of the day that he calls the shots in real and in the real world, real life, whatever.
Mm,
But that hasn't stopped any other promotion before from assigning on-air authority figures. I mean, I know McMahon obviously ran WWE and he was the on-air authority figure, but he still had general managers for Raw and SmackDown. And even when they didn't do a brand split, they still had on-air authority figures and commissioners and stuff. Tony Khan is a fucking awful television character. He's very awkward. He doesn't work in that environment at all. What he did on Wednesday was very limited, so that worked. If he is going to be on TV taking a beating, not that I want to see the guy get beat up, but that was a good use
mm,
of him. It put more heat on the Elite. I guess. I mean, I felt like I was cheering them for the fact that they were taking Tony Khan off television. I don't want to see him come back. If that's what this is leading to,
mm.
I don't want to see it again. Yeah, exactly. There you see the footage there of Tony Khan with the fucking neck brace. So, like I said, I commend his commitment to kayfabe. I wasn't a big
Yeah.
fan of the angle. It feels very NWO like, but guess what? I'll say it's a positive for two big reasons. One, it's something different for the company, and they have to try some stuff that's different. And
Mm,
two, it capitalizes on whatever buzz Jack Perry has right now within AEW coming off the CM Punk footage, which I also thought was dumb. We didn't get a chance to talk about that a couple weeks ago, but I
mm.
wasn't really a fan of the decision to air that. So we'll see where it goes. I'm not a fan of the initial angle. Like I said, I thought it was really goofy, but we'll see where it goes from here.
I mean, listen, I know, people who follow me can see that I tend to, I don't want to say shit on AEW, but kind of to say, like, if they do this wrong, what's going on. But I mean, listen, I think they were at a point where, like, might as well just fuck around and try it. Like, you never know where it can go.
Yeah.
It holds them off where, all right, now we have this in place. We have a few weeks or months to figure out where do we go from this. Is Jack Perry is Jack Perry and Tony Khan going to get in the ring? I don't see that happening. Because if you go back to NWO, obviously different times, and I get it, but it's like the Elite were already heels, correct?
Yeah, they were already heels. Yeah.
Already heels, and then Jack Perry, they're trying to um build the base of the video being shown with the CM Punk altercation, and I think they felt like that didn't work in their favor. So now, how do I spin that where now we're getting more eyeballs on our television screen and our product, and you're going to reinstate Jack Perry. He attacks Tony Khan, but now it's like, all right, like you said, what's the premise? Where do we go from here? That was week one. All right, how do you build? Is Tony Khan going to be on the mic every single week? Is he going to be in a promo every single week? Like, how do you? That's the part I'm intrigued. I
Yeah,
applaud them for trying something new, and Tony Khan going on the fucking NFL draft coverage with the neck brace and selling. His selling job was terrible. I've seen Vince
it
take a
was.
terrible stunners, and I've seen that, but him getting punched in the stomach and then reacting like 10 seconds later, like bro, like again, he's new to it. But do I want to see him getting attacked going further? Probably not.
No, me neither. Like I said, if this was designed to write him off TV indefinitely, if not forever, then that's great. I don't think
Mm,
that's the case. I think we will see him again. Probably not. I think it'd be dumb if he was on the show with the stupid ass neck brace. If he was to come back and be used again, it would probably be down the road. Now, this is their way of on screen explaining why the
mhm,
elite have power. Because for the last couple of weeks, the Young Bucks have been kind of throwing around the whole EVP thing and doing things their
mhm,
way, whatever. But if Tony Khan was there, then why wouldn't he dispute that? Like that just didn't make any sense to anyone. So at
mhm,
least writing Tony Khan out of the equation kind of explains why they now have complete power because Tony Khan's gone. How they'll have complete power when he comes back, God, that awkward ass handshake. How he'll have power when he comes back, I don't know, and they really have to do a better job
mhm.
of explaining that. So, like I said, capitalizing off of whatever's going on right now with Jack Perry is key. And I feel like that did this effectively. It got people talking about AEW. AEW, a lot of people watch Dynamite, and there's really
Mhm.
not a lot to talk about, and it kind of flies under the radar. This will get people talking, for better or for worse, more so than the Punk thing. The Punk thing was definitely dumb. This will at least get people talking for the better. So we'll see where they go. Yeah, his selling job is just
I mean, bro,
terrible.
even the NFL draft, NFL Network, when Rich Eisen mentions Tony Khan and the neck brace, oh, that's what happens when AEW Dynamite. Like, all right, now they're getting some
Exposure,
pub and
exactly.
exposure. I like your idea of like, all right, if this is gonna make Tony Khan be off television, and like now the power goes to the elite, like how the NWO was back in the '90s. But does Tony Khan? Oh, Tony Khan's terrible. Oh my god.
Yeah.
um, like does Tony Khan take time off, but then does he come back with four people that's gonna take the elite out? Like that's what I'm saying. Like who's gonna if your idea goes to fruition, like who's the four that's gonna save AEW from the elite? Like that's the next storyline I think that's supposed to. He can't come back next week, So it's like
Yeah.
that's the intriguing part about this whole situation. But I applaud them for doing something new. Jack Perry's gonna thrive off of this with the whole CM Punk altercation, and just see where the elite takes this going forward.
Yeah, I mean, they have an opportunity here to hopefully build up some new stars, Jack Perry being one of them. I mean, he's not a new star, he's been there since the beginning. I don't really see the
Hmm.
need to build him up as a main event talent. I don't think he's a main event guy at all, but remotely, especially not right now.
Yeah,
Um, they might be able to get him to that level eventually. Like if this is leading to him taking the world championship, for example, off of Swerve Strickland,
maybe,
that would be a
maybe.
I mean, it could be. If they're building it to Jack Perry and Swerve a double or nothing, okay. As long as Swerve wins. Swerve losing the belt in a month to Jack Perry would be pretty fucking bad, I think.
Mm,
Okada would be more worthy of that spot, but he's holding that other pointless championship right now.
yeah.
So, this could factor in MJF when he's ready to return. He's kind of like the face
Mm.
of AEW. Omega's back next week, but I don't think he's wrestling. I think he's just appearing in Winnipeg, so I don't think he's actually coming back anytime soon. But they could have him get attacked by the Elite next week, whatever the case might be. Um,
And that's
yeah,
my point. You're saying if Tony Khan is off TV or he has to build this team in the next few months to go against the elite, like how Bischoff did, like, oh, you get your three guys, I get my three guys for the battle of WCW. Who's
probably a
gonna help
War Games match. I think
AEW?
it's
You said
probably Blood and
MJF is
Guts.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Omega could be two.
If he comes back in time, I don't know. He might not be
Mhm.
back anytime soon. That's the thing. But he could be. FTR perhaps. I could see Adam Copeland. Now, I don't think of AEW and think of Edge, but he is friends with FTR, and he could be. Maybe Jack Perry goes after the TNT Championship. He's another one. There's any number of people. Hangman Page should be back
Hangman.
anytime. I don't think he's hurt. I think he's just off the show because he just wanted to take personal time off, or they didn't have anything for him,
Mhm.
whatever the case might be. He could come back and rival the Elite as he did years ago. I think the end game here, I'm not really thinking about it previously, but it could lead to some sort of like a blood and guts match, which we've seen before. But this one being 4-on-4, unless they add in someone
Mhm.
else to the Elite, that could be their big blow off here because they like to do blood and guts once a year. That will probably be the
Yeah.
case again this year. I mean, they could add a fifth men's member of the group, but if they're going to add another member to the Elite, I think a perfect, and this isn't a bold opinion, people have said this elsewhere, but I think the perfect female member of the Elite when they've never had a female member before would be Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks. I mean, she's got
Okay.
the money thing going for her. She's an unlikable character on the show anyway. She comes off as very unlikable to me personally on the show.
Hmm.
So throw her in the Elite. I feel like she'd blend in there very well. And maybe you can have them oppose Willow
Mhm.
Nightingale or whoever else from AEW. So that would be my 2 cents on that. Britt Baker, perhaps. There's a lot of different directions they could
Yeah.
go in.
But at least they have some programming going on through the remainder of the spring and summertime that could really be dominated by this NWO elite kind of thing. Tony Khan. I don't know when MJF will be back. I don't know what's going on. You said Omega could be a little a ways of coming back, but at least they now have options. So I'm cool with that. So let's see where that goes. Also on Monday we have Becky Lynch becoming the new women's champion. We know Rhea is going to be out of action with the injury due to Liv Morgan. They had a battle royal. The final three was your favorite Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, and Becky Lynch. Listen, not this is a different Nia, so you
It is
can't
a
really
different
knock this
Nia.
one.
I
It's a
don't think I
different
told you
Nia.
this. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know if we talked about it last week, but I did say that if you're going to put the belt on anyone, I honestly would prefer Nia because Becky wouldn't. I didn't really like the idea of putting the belt on her.
Mhm.
She did win the championship.
Yeah.
I don't think whoever's holding that championship now will hold it for that long. Liv Morgan should beat whoever is winning that championship. And Liv will
Mhm.
probably be going heel on the sooner side. So if they want to have her go heel soon, then having her beat Becky makes more sense. But listen, I did say Nia Jax would not be a bad option. She's been booked very well since returning. She's put in the work, has had some good matches, the best matches of her entire career. And
Mm.
she's also gotten into great shape as well. So I think
Right.
Nia would have been a good choice, but Becky Lynch being the new women's world champion instead makes perfect sense if they want to have Liv beat her for the belt, turn heel in the process. And listen, it means more for Liv to win against Becky Lynch and beat her one-on-one, something she has never done before, than
Mhm.
win a fucking battle royal, which is how championships should not be decided anyway. But that was the exception on Monday. So I'm perfectly fine with that result, assuming it's leading to what I think it's leading to. Unless Liv Morgan gets drafted at a SmackDown tonight and all of this goes to shit, then I think Liv beating Becky is the way to go.
Mhm. There we go.
There we go. Got you back.
Hey man, today's a weird day. It
It
was going
happens.
good for me for a couple of weeks, but apologize for the Wi-Fi issues. So those who are just tapping in, chiming in. Um, so yeah, Becky Lynch, world champion. I do agree with you that Liv Morgan. I wanted her to win,
Yeah,
but
me too.
I understand that the 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 chase for her to become champion will be greater in the long run, and then
Mm-hmm.
being able to dethrone Becky in the process would make it all worth it. And the fact is, we're in April. Do I see Becky being champion through maybe the summertime? I don't know. Like, I don't think we're in that time frame where Becky's going to be champion for more than 6 months or even a year. So I don't see that happening. But there is the King of the Ring coming up. There's the Queen of the Ring coming up. There's Money in the Bank. There's Clash of the Castle. Obviously SummerSlam. So there are some events where we could see that happening. So Liv definitely needs to become champion. I don't think Becky needed it, but I think it's just a placeholder for now. If it was Nia, I would have been down for that. But yeah, seeing Becky win is cool. We move on, but I think Liv should be the next champion. After Becky.
Yeah, listen, if Becky won it now, or I'm sorry, Liv won it now, I don't think she's holding that championship for 6 months. And I don't know when Rhea is coming back. She could be back in 3 months. She could be back for SummerSlam. She could be back for September. We just don't know. Liv
Mm-hmm.
was not going to get that long of a run as champion. In her first run as champion, back in 2022 was 3 months long, but it was not a good
Mm-hmm.
reign. She was not booked well. It was okay, but they kind of fucked it up creatively. I mean, she doesn't have to be champion for, a month, but I just don't think if she
Yeah.
were to win the belt now, she's going to go on to beat Becky and then Becky never get her win back. I'd rather have Becky win it now and Liv beat her for the belt than Liv win the belt now in a stupid battle royal and then Becky
Mm.
beats her at like Night of Champions. Like that would just completely invalidate Liv Morgan's run. I'd rather have Liv win it from her, turn heel, and then Rhea comes back as the valiant babyface. I'd much rather see them go that route instead.
Mm. Changing gears. I know we mentioned it a few times. King and Queen of the Ring. That's coming up in May.
It's coming
Is
up
it
in
May?
late May, Memorial Day weekend. Yeah,
And that's in Saudi.
that's in Saudi. Yep.
Okay. So Queen and King of the Ring. Obviously I seen Gunther put his spot into the tournament. And I think right from there that's where it stops because I think he drops the belt to Sami Zayn. Sami's the Intercontinental Champion. You're wondering what would they do with Gunther as far as the World Heavyweight Championship spot goes. We don't know if he would remain on Raw post draft. So we'll see later on tonight. But seeing a King Gunther character would be really obviously. Kaiser turned on what's the other guy's name?
Giovanni Vinci. Yeah.
Giovanni. So yeah, so now that there's dissension with the Imperium, we don't know if they're gonna go separately or if it's gonna be Gunther and Kaiser going forward. Or they add new people. We don't know. I think seeing Trick Williams win the world title of NXT on Tuesday. Who's
Mm-hmm.
it? Dragunov, right?
Yep.
Now, do you see a Dragunov getting to the main We good now?
I can hear you now. Yeah,
I don't know, bro. This got to be a StreamYard thing. It can't be me, bro. I'm
maybe.
hope
Yeah,
it's
I
not
don't know.
me,
That's crazy.
bro. We were good the last couple weeks, so I
I
don't
know
know.
it's probably just today. It's probably just a StreamYard thing today.
Gotta be. Um, do you know where I left off?
You mentioned Dragunov. You asked me if Dragunov could get drafted, and I
Yeah,
said yeah.
Dragunov being put to the main roster, the whole Imperium thing, Gunther,
Like
King
who
of the
could be
Ring.
drafted? I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but now with Kaiser turning on Giovanni, do you see a Dragunov coming to the main roster and being like the new guy to replace Giovanni in the Imperium?
I don't think so. I know that's been the rumor that they might have him be the new member of Imperium. I would not like to see that. I just feel like they do a decent job now more than ever than compared to when Vince McMahon was in charge of carrying over stuff from NXT to the main roster. So if
Hmm.
you carry over stuff from NXT to the main roster and have stuff make sense, then it would make absolutely no sense for Dragunov to join Gunther with the bad blood between the two from 2020 to 2021.
Hmm.
That to me would just be stupid. So I would not do that. I don't think they need to do that. I think Dragunov being guy can be a guy where, I'm an advocate for a lot of people like put him in this stable. That guy can be in that stable. They can have a team, whatever. I don't think Dragunov needs any of that. I think he could do
Hmm.
perfectly fine on his own. He's great. Give him the ball, let him run with it. So no, at some point I could see him feuding with Gunther on the main roster. Not now though. I would wait on that for a while down the road, but for now I think he should be his own thing.
So do you agree that seeing King Gunther character, a King Gunther character, um, knowing that he's not Intercontinental Champion no more, we're trying to figure out where does he go in a draft. Is he going to go for the World Championship or Cody Rhodes Universal Heavyweight Championship? But for now, for the time being King of the Ring could be a good thing for him going forward.
A great thing, especially since now that Vince McMahon is no longer in charge, as I mentioned. Um, Winning that crown for a long time felt like a curse. I mean, the dumbass crown scepter at one point, it was like a plunger for Wade Barrett. It completely, I mean, he really didn't have a lot of momentum when he won it anyway, but it did him no favors in 2015. It did Sheamus no favors in 2010. They brought it back in 2021 with Xavier Woods, and it was fine. I'm glad he won, but it didn't really do anything with him. Whoever wins that thing should be next in line, ideally for a world championship opportunity or some sort of aggressive push, both men and women. And Gunther's the guy, man. I don't see him going for either world championship anytime soon. I think Damian Priest will be wrapped up with that belt and probably Drew McIntyre through early summer. So maybe you could push Gunther in that direction. I think Gunther is going to SmackDown tonight or Monday. I don't know when he's eligible, but
Hmm.
I see him going to SmackDown soon with Kaiser, not with Vinci, and him chasing Cody Rhodes. Now, I don't think he beats Cody Rhodes anytime soon. I think that's the ultimate match because it seems like they might keep the belt on Cody until Rock comes back, and then Rock might not want the match until Mania. It's kind of a mess right now. But I do think he goes to SmackDown, back to SmackDown, brings Kaiser with him, um, gets him away from the Intercontinental Championship. That's what I would do, and I think that's what you do, and you can keep him busy with the King of the Ring in the meantime, winning that tournament, not
Hmm.
losing again anytime soon, and hopefully having him challenge. Maybe that could be the SummerSlam match, Cody and Gunther. Gunther may not win, but it's still the right position that he should be in going forward beyond King of the Ring. So I do think he's the perfect fit to win that crown come Saudi Arabia King of the Ring pay-per-view.
So I know many have won the tournament for King of the Ring. Obviously, Stone Cold and Triple H, Kurt Angle, Owen Hart, Brett. Um, you mentioned Wade Barrett. Kofi, not Kofi.
Edge, yeah, Billy Gunn. I mean
Woods,
Booker T,
Booker T. So I
Brock
will ask
Lesnar.
you, Brock. But some have won it and just kept it moving. But some have won it and really kept that character. Oh, I'm the king this and the king that. Like who from the past, who has portrayed that king like character the best because they won King of the Ring? Is it Macho? I think Booker's got to be up there as
Mhm.
far as being a king. Owen Hart really played the King of Hearts. So
Yeah.
those might be the best ones that play well to the character becoming King of the Ring, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I think it's the Mountain Rushmore stuff is tough, but you know, I would probably put Macho. I mean, you mentioned most of them: Macho, Booker, because King Booker was so memorable. Even though it
Yeah.
lasted only about a year, it was very memorable. Got him his first world and only championship
Mm.
in WWE. His only world championship. If we're not counting the WCW title that he
Mm.
brought over from WCW, he won the World Heavyweight Championship as King Booker, which is ironic because he was Booker T and over for so long as Booker T for his first few years.
Mm.
But anyway, yeah, so King Booker, King Macho, probably Owen Hart, because like you said, King of Hearts and feuding with Bret Hart and went on to win, not win, but challenge
Mm.
Bret Hart for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam soon after. So those three portray the King thing well. I don't know if Triple H King of Kings stems from that. I
Mm.
think it might, but he wasn't. I don't know. Maybe Triple H. But I'm trying to think, like, Brock was never like the stereotypical king, and he shouldn't have been. He benefited from winning it, though. He went on to win the
Mm.
WWE Championship at SummerSlam that year from The Rock. It would not have been Wade Barrett or Sheamus. Billy Gunn was a failure in that role. I mean, Harley Race, King Harley was a big deal when he came into WWF and wasn't there for very long, but a lot of people remember the King Harley thing. So probably
Mm.
those four: Owen Hart, Harley Race,
The King Harley
Macho,
race, yeah.
and Booker. Yeah, so probably those four. And if not those four, I would throw an honorable mention because it was actually when I got into wrestling 16 years ago was because of William Regal. I thought he played that role exceptionally well. He was Raw GM at the time, and that was what actually made me a wrestling fan. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention that. But the other four are probably better examples.
You got King Mabel, you got King
Oh,
Corbin.
I forgot about Corbin. They brought it back in 2019. How did I forget about that? Yeah, Corbin was I like Corbin a lot. That shit was awful, and Mabel was terrible too. That's how you know the product sucked.
Even your guy, Regal.
Yeah, no, I mentioned Regal. Regal would definitely be my number one because, like I said, him winning when I started watching,
Mm-hmm.
he was just the GM. So then a
Right.
couple weeks later, when he won King of the Ring, my mind was blown as like a 14-year-old wrestling fan, thinking, "Holy shit,
Mm-hmm.
he's both the GM, a wrestler, and King of the Ring." That is a just crazy amount of power, and I thought it was a really cool concept. I mean, it's like Nick Aldis winning King of the Ring. Like that'd be pretty
Mm-hmm.
sick. Very, very much similar to that. Probably not Adam Pearce, but um, yeah, that would be sick. So that's why I love Regal in that role personally. So he's a guilty pleasure of mine.
You know who'll be tough, but I don't think I think he'll be tied up with like seeing Chad Gable be involved could be like King Gable knowing that he's did the heel turn on Sammy 2 weeks ago, but to beat Gunther, like could you imagine now it's Gable and Gunther in the finals and Gable finally beats Gunther and now he's a fucking King of the Ring. And I mean those two, because the King of the Ring to me
It's a
is
heel gimmick.
it's a heel gimmick.
Yeah.
And who's gonna like on the microphone portray the attitude of being snotty? Like, do I see Gunther being that? Do I see Chad Gable being in that role? I could see Gable being in that role more than Gunther, just
Mm,
off the microphone purposes. But
yeah.
if it's not like though, if Gable was in it, um, I could take him as well. But he might be tighter with Sammy going forward.
No, listen, Gable would have been great. Gable's a fine option. I do think it's Gunther. I mean, there's no way. I mean, Gable shouldn't be in it if he's not going to win it. I think a better role for Gable is winning just the Intercontinental Championship, period. Not even going
Mm-hmm.
with the King of the Ring thing. It is funny you mentioned that, though. You might have mentioned Gable because you saw this as well, but he was the runner-up in 2019 against Baron Corbin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wanted him to win that year. I thought Gable was the perfect person to win. He's kind of been on the cusp of that, like that next level for years now. And it started then, kind of, because he really should have won back then, and he didn't. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that would be a great gimmick for him. Xavier Woods was like the first person in well over 20 years to have won it as a babyface, and he made the most of it. Like King Woods was cool, and
Mm-hmm.
um, they had Sir Kofi Kingston like with them too, and then he got hurt or something. Woods did, and then he was off the show for a few months and came back as if nothing ever happened. He was right back to doing his own thing. It's like, then what was even the fucking point? Like they gave him what he wanted, which was cool because he had been begging about that for years.
Mm-hmm.
they just completely failed to capitalize on it. And now he's still at the same level that he was 3 years ago. So I hope
Yeah.
they give it to Gunther. I feel like he's the right choice.
So, Graham, before I let you go, draft tonight. Um, the champions are exempt. So your Cody's, your Damian Priest, your Sami Zayn, your Logan Pauls, the tag champions, everybody exempt. I think except for the women's tag champions. I'm not
Correct.
too sure about. Okay, like why is everybody exempt except them? I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, to be fair, those are not brand exclusive. And they're not like the other belts aren't brand exclusive either. They're no longer like the Raw tag titles, but the women's tag titles have always floated between the brands. They're not just defended on Raw. They're not just defended on SmackDown. They're also defended on NXT. So it makes sense why those champions can float between the two brands. I'm totally okay with that. Listen, I love the logic of making those titles exclusive, every other title exclusive to each brand, because it makes no fucking sense when they swap. Because like when they take I don't know, it's stupid when they put all titles on one brand, or they have to do the dumbass title swap is never going to happen again. Vince is gone. That's never going to happen again. That was awful. But it was just one of those things where it just never really made any sense. So I'm glad they moved on from that. I don't think they're doing that again.
Hmm. So, what are your expectations for the draft tonight? Who are some key people you want to see on the move tonight?
I'm not sure. Let me pull up who's eligible tonight. I know I have it saved. Hold on one second.
Yeah,
Because there's
before
a
my
couple. I know
Wi-Fi acts
AJ's.
up again.
Yeah. Okay, so looking at night one, AJ Styles is eligible tonight. The Bloodline is eligible tonight. I would keep Bloodline on SmackDown. I would keep Jey Uso separate on Raw. I would not move any of those guys. I would keep AJ on SmackDown, Braun Breaker on SmackDown, Rollins on Raw. That's not changing anyone's shows, so that might be disappointing, but that's what I
Mhm.
would do. I would keep LA Knight on SmackDown, so he stays in the same show um as the United States Championship. LA
Okay.
Knight's probably moving to Raw. That's my prediction. I think Gable should stay on Raw with the Alpha Academy and the Intercontinental Championship.
Mhm.
Liv Morgan should stay on Raw. I don't know. I'm looking at night one. I don't really think any of these people should move. Orton, I would keep on SmackDown. Ricochet could move wherever. I don't give a shit. Andrade can probably stay on Raw. Bianca should stay on SmackDown. I don't want any of these. At least the big players. Sheamus should move to Raw, but he kind of already is on Raw, even though he's technically on
Mhm.
SmackDown. So I'm
Yeah.
saying that no one should move, but they'll probably move like either AJ, Liv should absolutely not move. They should move Nia Jax to SmackDown. I could see Jey Uso going to SmackDown too. Yeah, those are some of the picks I see being made tonight, personally.
Well, Graham, I don't want to hold you longer. I don't want the Wi-Fi to act up in the next 2 minutes. But listen, I know next week it should be a lot better with the issues. I apologize. Graham Matthews on Twitter at Russell Rants. Great work for Bleacher Report and Fansided Daily DDT. Find myself, Randy J. Cruz, R-E-N-D-Y, letter J-C-R-U-Z. Go ahead, download the podcast. Go to youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Give us a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Show some love and support for you boys on the program. Graham Matthews, enjoy the draft tonight. I know we'll catch up soon.
You too, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Take it easy.
You too. Peace.
Bet.